Hey, thank you so much for watching the video. And hey, I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of the video, Blocks by Zenny. It is these glasses right here. And by far, y'all, these are the best things I have in my gaming gear. And I cannot think of what I would do without them. I wear them for streaming. I wear them for those long gaming sessions. And more importantly, I wear them from casting. I look at so many different screens while I'm casting. And the great thing about these glasses is they protect them from those harmful blue lights I get from all these digital screens. And the cool thing as well is the prescription. I can wear them every day. And so that is why I love Blocks by Zennies. You could check out the collection down below. You don't have to get a prescription. You can get non-prescription frames as well. The more important thing is I want you to protect your eyes. So if y'all want to see what I'm talking about, go ahead and click the link in the description down below and see what I'm talking about. All right, back to the video. All right. Nice. 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 Let's go. Ha. Let's get it. You are listening to the 10-Minute Checkpoint podcast with Sanchowest, where I talk about video games, movies, music, sports, and sometimes wrestling, all within 10 minutes. And like always, we have a doozy of a show for you. So let's go ahead and put 10 minutes on the clock. Here we go. All right. Listen here, y'all. You click the video and you know exactly what it is. It is all about Battlefield 2042, probably one of the most anticipated multiplayer games coming out later this year. And my, oh my, it's so exciting to know that there's more multiplayer coming down the pipe. In fact, there's a lot more news from Ubisoft as well on the other side, coming to more Battle Royale news that we'll get into another 10-minute Checkpoint podcast. But today is all about EA's and DICE Battlefield 2042. Before we begin the podcast officially, kind of, sort of, I want to thank EA and DICE for inviting me to their Capture event. For those of you who are not really into the lingo of the business, a Capture event is they invite us content creators / influencers. Ugh, I hate that word. They invite us to a kind of like a multiplayer session. There's about a couple of hours and we're just given free reign to do whatever we need to do. We can capture video. We can make kind of short form, long form videos. And this is my reaction or my first look impressions to the Battlefield 2042. And just to give you a little bit more insight, we only literally played one map, and that is Orbital. And they said during their presentation is by far one of the most highly tested, well-liked maps, Orbital. And then we were also given the ability to like try to party up. And that was the kind of, in terms of capture events, there was kind of a little bit of issues here and there, but that's not their fault over there, considering that everything went kablooey. Because this was, for those who don't know, this was happening during the social media blackout when it comes to Facebook, Instagram, all of that was just getting shut down and whatnot, and definitely affected to what was happening with the multiplayer capture event. But regardless, I was able to get some good times in, basically about 3 hours or so, a couple sessions solo, and then like one session I was able to get with the squad. So shout outs to the Kind of Funny crew with Snowbike Mike, Andy Cortez, and of course shout out to Bruce Green as well. Great time I had playing with you, Granted, we only played about 1.5 matches or so. Considering that the way the event was run, we had little special kind of workarounds. We weren't working with our own tags, so if you see the footage that later on that I will put on my socials, my TikTok and Instagram and things like that, if you want more a special look, if you're looking into that situation, you will be able to see that we all have different names. The main thing about it though is like we couldn't really squad up. If it wasn't for the the kind of like the blunt force try that we did, basically all the guys, we were just linking up to get together. Now, granted, all that will be solved when you get into the open beta. Of course, the open beta will be October 8th, 2021. The early beta is literally live now for those people that pre-ordered a physical copy or digital copy. So what did I think about the game itself, Battlefield 2042? The thing about Battlefield, I'm going to have to tell you that my history with it is like, I liked the Battlefield. It was always a great alternative to Call of Duty. I just love the mass scale chaos and the sandbox vibe about it. I love the real-time events that happen. And this right here, 2042, like I mentioned, we only played on Orbital, and there was literally 2 events. One where a big, huge tornado would come on through, which I didn't get to see during the event, but I heard from others it was really epic and cool. and a shuttle launch, which I cannot wait to share with you the viral clip. I'm calling it viral early. I know that might be bold, but I did something kind of crazy when it comes to the shuttle launch, and that was to the events. And to see the shuttle launch on the ground where I was actually in a helicopter looking down, I can't imagine what it's like to feel that scale of seeing a shuttle kind of launch right in front of you on a battlefield war zone type scenario. So for those of you who know a little bit of specifics, it's the PC version will have about 128 players in the lobby. If there's not 128 players, you play with bots. During the capture event, it was mainly bots that we were playing against, but there was about 10 to 20 kind of real people out there running around there. For previous generations, you only play up to 64 or so. And they really did their best to kind of capture the magic that has been happening on the next gen for the PlayStation 4. But of course, there's limitations like frame rate and things of that sort. But it looked really good on the PC thing. I put it all the way high. It looked fantastic and ran smooth. It looked really good. The chaos that was happening, the explosions that was happening. And like I mentioned before, by far the best fun that I had in the capture event was actually playing with other people. And that is, I think, where the spirit of Battlefield will come to, is playing with other people, whether your own friends or making friends through the Battlefield itself. I had the best time. There was nothing like us 5 or 4 guys, a ragtag group of guys out there trying to complete objectives in a very dysfunctional way. And there's nothing like it. You're just screaming. You're like, get over here. I got this tank. I'm calling into the tank. There is the ability to call in some vehicles. There are cooldowns on it, so don't worry. They won't be spamming a whole bunch of tanks. But basically, you could call in vehicles. You could get in all different types of vehicles, regular civilian vehicles, different military vehicles. You have tanks as well. Of course, you have the helicopters. You have the fighter jets. You have the support helicopters. You have the medic helicopters. You have so much kind of zaniness and craziness on top of this realism type. And I would say that it is not as realistic as other Battlefields to me. Like, for some reason, I was in the zone that I was able to kind of track people easily. I was able to kind of figure out bullet drops very easily. It wasn't as aggressive as I was a Battlefield. And I think it's considering that you're coming from a Battlefield that was set in the World War era, bringing it over to here. I mean, of course, Battlefield's been in World War I, World War II. Now you're bringing it to the 2042, more of a modernized or pseudo-modernized version of military combat. I think it really does a huge service. And what's really cool is the little nuances that they kind of added to it. It's like the little hints of flavor. You know, you recognize that the cake, what it is, Battlefield. You know exactly what you're getting into. Getting huge mass scale multiplayer warfare type scenarios with objective base rather than just team deathmatch or anything like that. So now you know the cake, but you didn't know that there's a little bit of flavors, a little bit of spice in there that makes the experience a little bit, And one of those things is on the fly attachments is really cool. On the mouse and keyboard, you hit T, and all of a sudden you have the ability to kind of work with it. So it was really cool to see that opportunity there going for it. And I think there is a lot of great foundations. If you are a Battlefield fan. Historically, Call of Duty, Battlefield have been going toe-to-toe forever. It seems like every console, there is a battle between the two FPS shooters. And feel like ever since the emergence of Warzone, Call of Duty has taken the lead. And that's going to bring me to my next point, is I wonder, again, we didn't really get to experience the kind of like the flagship, the new iteration of their version of the Battle Royale. Again, it's not official. There is no Battle Royales so far slated for launch. They did talk about a mode that is going to be sort of like capture the essence of a Battle Royale, but it's not a Battle Royale. So we just played a regular domination, same thing, Battlefield. You see a flag, you cap it, you keep moving along, you try to hold on to it, the other team loses tickets, then you win. It's pretty basic things, but when it comes down to it, like I mentioned, without a Battle Royale at launch, it's going to be really hard to garner the attention from the people that really just love the genre, the mode of Battle Royale. And when you're playing it, you're just like running around these vehicles, feeling the fun, the excitement, feeling the adrenaline coming from really high heights, dropping out of a plane. You just wish, what would it look like? And it's the same kind of question that I had for Halo Infinite in the previous podcast. What would a Battle Royale look like? And that's the thing that I'm hoping that, I know a lot of people, if you don't listen ever to the podcast when it comes to previous episodes, you all going to say Firestorm for the Battlefield 5 was a terrible Battle Royale. I disagree. I think it led to a great foundation for other Battle Royales that I think it with time, with love, with promotion, I thought Battlefield 5 Firestorm was really solid. Fortunately, just not having enough players. And eventually, about a week or so, everyone kind of faded out, fizzled out, so to speak. There were some issues, of course, like the loot and things like that and the way it moved. But that Firestorm engagement, that Ring of Fire in a top 1v1 or when it gets to it, there's nothing like it. And the ability to kind of explode the different buildings and things of that sort really adds a layer that not a lot of games of this stature have when it comes to battle royales. That's always been the common complaint. Camping. Well, then in Battlefield, you just explode the building and solve the problem. And that's what I think right now is the ultimate missing, like the cherry on top of this entire Battlefield cake. If we're going to continue the metaphor, of course, is that it's really solid. It's a fun thing. The Battlefield fans will be happy. You're going to enjoy the experience. It's next gen. It looks great. The environments look great and run smooth. I think the gunplay is really solid. I never felt really connected when it comes to the Battlefield gunplay. I felt really great out there. The attachments were cool. Sniping was cool. Even the gadgets that were cool, that you have the abilities, the characters, the classes, they have the abilities themselves. I felt they were unique. They was cool. The grappling hook is cool. Like overall, it's a very cool experience and I cannot wait to dive further into it. Again, we literally got about a couple hours into it and we're only getting access to one map. So I'm not quite sure what the early beta will have or the open beta would have, but I'm hoping for me, when I get to that experience, that it will be expanded in that I could join my friends. And I think that's where the game will shine. And I really think the virality of it, if you want to talk to a streamer or again, the word influencer or someone who wants to make content, or you, a fan of Battlefield, there will be instances of these holy moments when it comes to these viral clips. And I think I have one, and I'm really talking it up. I'm really preaching it, but I'm really excited to see what Battlefield 2042. Once again, thank you to EA and DICE for inviting me to the capture event. I will do my best to maybe stream this game here and there on twitch.tv/Sanchowest. For those of you who don't know, quickly before we end the podcast, I am expecting my second kid coming soon. Literally the 9 days is the due date, and it could be any minute now. So I will do my best to stream the beta. So you have any questions, you could come on by twitch.tv/Sanchowest. But as always, thank you so much for tuning in for the 10-Minute Checkpoint podcast. I know that we went a little bit over, but you could go ahead and leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, share, review wherever you see the podcast, or listen to the podcast on your favorite podcast services. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one. Oh yeah, peace, adios.